Ever find yourself in the middle of a heated argument, heart pounding, wondering, is this going to break us? It's a scary moment, right? In the next 10 minutes or so, we'll explore how to argue without tearing your relationship apart. Stick around. I'm Evelyn Stonebridge. Picture this. I once had a blow-up with my partner over something ridiculous, like which one of us forgot to buy coffee. We were both so frustrated that a tiny misunderstanding turned into raised voices and hurt feelings. Sound familiar? It's amazing how small moments can explode into giant problems when emotions flare. Now here's the thing. Conflict isn't a sign your relationship is doomed. Actually, healthy conflict can bring two people closer if you know how to handle it. We argue because we care deeply and want to be understood. But when the volume goes up and our blood pressure spikes, our brains slip into fight or flight mode. That's when logic flies out the window. Today, we'll go deeper into how to argue mindfully, so those tense moments can become stepping stones, not stumbling blocks, in your relationship. Let's talk about the hidden landmines that make our arguments blow up. First, there are the triggers, those emotional sore spots we carry from our past. Maybe it's that feeling of being dismissed, or an old wound where someone made you feel unimportant. When a partner's words even slightly poke at that bruise, it can spark huge reactions that seem out of proportion to the current situation. Suddenly, a mild disagreement about dinner plans feels like a full-blown attack on your character. Then comes the emotional flood. Your pulse quickens, your face heats up, and reason takes a back seat while your nervous system goes into survival mode. In that state, it's almost impossible to see your partner's perspective, because you're too busy defending yourself from a threat that might be mostly in your head. And before you know it, the blame game begins. Both people start pointing fingers, digging into old grudges, and firing off statements like, "You always do this," or "You never listen to me." Those sweeping accusations only add fuel to the fire. If you're stuck in that cycle, you can't resolve anything. You're just trading blows, emotionally speaking, until one of you backs down or storms out. All right, let's dive into the practical methods to keep your arguments from going nuclear. I like to frame it as a 4-step approach, and each step builds on the last. Give these a try the next time tensions start rising. Step 1. Take a beat. When you feel that rush of heat in your face or sense your voice getting louder, pause, literally. This is the moment to do a quick grounding practice, like inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4. Imagine you're about to defend yourself in a courtroom, but the judge says, "Take a minute to collect your thoughts." You'd definitely use that time to breathe instead of yelling. In everyday life, that tiny pause helps calm your nervous system. It's a cue for your brain to step out of fight or flight mode and back into reason. Sometimes, it just takes 1 or 2 deep breaths to avoid saying something you'll regret. Step 2. Focus on the why behind the words. Picture this. Lily and Mark are arguing about who does the dishes. Lily says, "You never help around the house." Mark instantly feels attacked because she used the word never. But if Lily zoomed out, she might realize the real hurt is that she feels unappreciated. Mark, on the other hand, might be so busy defending himself. "That's not true, I just did the dishes yesterday," that he misses the chance to validate her feelings. When you take a moment to ask yourself, what's really bothering me? You tap into the core emotion, whether it's feeling overwhelmed, overlooked, or undervalued. Then you can respond to that emotion rather than just the surface complaint. Step 3. Use I statements. This is the classic advice, but you'd be amazed how many people skip it. Instead of, "You always ignore me when I'm talking," try, "I feel shut out when I'm not heard." It sounds simple, but it shifts the tone. Nobody likes being put on trial, and starting a sentence with "you" can feel like a pointed finger. I statements focus on how a behavior affects you, and that invites your partner to understand rather than brace for impact. Step 4. Propose a path forward. Finally, once you've cooled down enough to see your partner's viewpoint, collaborate on a solution. Let's say Lily and Mark figure out that Lily's frustration is really about feeling unnoticed. Mark responds by asking, "How about we schedule a daily check-in after work and divide chores each week?" Sure, it's not a magic fix, but it's a constructive plan. That's the difference between arguing to win and arguing to grow. When both people feel heard, you lay the groundwork for healing, not just appeasing each other until the next fight. Remember, these 4 steps are habits you develop over time. No one masters them overnight. If you slip up, that's okay. The key is to keep trying, keep communicating, and trust that real change comes with practice. Sometimes, right in the middle of a shouting match, you realize you don't want to keep hurting each other. That's the perfect time to press pause and soften your tone. It can be as simple as saying, "I'm listening, let me try to understand," or gently placing your hand on theirs if that feels right. A warm look or a few calm words can tell your partner, "I'm in this with you, not against you." If you're both still tense, take a brief time out. Promise to come back in 10 or 15 minutes after you've both cooled off. That simple promise can help you remember your teammates, not enemies. Let's take a quick look at what we learned. First, stopping the knee-jerk reaction with a short pause is a game changer. Then we explored uncovering the real why behind your words, because what sounds like frustration might actually be a cry for understanding. We talked about how I statements can diffuse tension by shifting the focus from blame to empathy. And finally, we saw how proposing a real plan, no matter how small, can set you and your partner on a healthier path. Bottom line, conflict isn't a sign you're failing. It can actually bring you closer. Every time you manage your emotions and speak your truth, while allowing your partner the space to do the same, you lay a stronger foundation for genuine closeness. If you're ready to go deeper and make these strategies a daily habit, check out my Relationship Conflict Resolution book. You'll find it on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, or hardcover. Just follow the link in the description below. Inside, you'll get more in-depth exercises, personal stories, and practical tips for handling even the toughest conflicts. Give it a read and get one step closer to a healthier, more peaceful relationship. And hey, before you go, if you want to heal deeper relationship hurts and wake up feeling calmer, tap the end card for my 3.5-hour guided sleep meditation. It's waiting to help you release old wounds and nurture a healthier love. Click, relax, and I'll see you there.